how do you define success?
And the answer is definitely not meeting someone on Salt. That's never been, from day one, has never been what we classify as success.
This is Salt's YouTube. I'm Lauren Windle, and I am back with Paul Ryder, CEO of Salt. So we've got a load of questions that have been sent in. We opened it up to everyone on the Salt social media platforms are sending questions for you.
Okay.
But before we do that, before we ask the real questions, let's just get to know the man, Paul, you know, behind the work.
Yeah.
So I've got...
Is this where I do a song or...
Yeah, well, if the spirit moves you,
we'll see what happens.
we're open to a song. But I've got 10 rapid fire questions. Don't think, just answer.
First answer.
Just
we
so
can edit them out if I...
Shouldn't have thought so, no.
Yeah.
And we'll just chuck them at you and we'll just get to know a little bit about you, okay? Ready?
I think so.
Favourite fruit?
Orange.
How far can you swim underwater?
50 metres, I don't know.
Where's your happy place?
With my daughter on my lap and my wife next to me. All by myself, it would be, I don't know, swimming or playing some sport or just having a cup of tea and reading.
Do you support a football team?
I prefer rugby and cricket, Springboks, go Boca, but Fulham, yeah, I'm a lapsed Fulham fan.
Job you wanted as a kid?
Bus driver.
Did you fail any subjects in school?
I did pretty badly at IT actually, which doesn't bode well for this job.
We're a tech company.
However, we weren't really taught. You know, some subjects your teacher doesn't teach you like the syllabus at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just like, here's a computer,
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Favourite book?
William Boyd. Anything by William Boyd is my
Did you have a poster on your wall as a child?
Yeah, I think I had a
bet it was good.
Ryan Giggs duvet cover. I remember that.
Did you?
Yeah. I grew up in South Africa, so I was like, the only team anyone knew of then was Man
Manchester
United. So, you know, you grow
yeah.
up, you support Man United.
Of course you do.
Ryan Giggs.
What would be your superhero name? Last question.
I don't know. I'm quite lucky, I suppose. Ryder's my surname, so that actually helps, doesn't it? So
like Knight Rider.
I could be Salt Rider.
Salt Rider.
Yeah,
just riding on a hovercraft, sprinkling salt.
Adding salt and stuff.
Adding salt
Cleaning
and light.
things, or like, probably have a torch and then
yeah.
a sack at the back. Just.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Here's what other people wanted to know. How do you feel when you find out that someone is married after they met on Salt?
I mean, it's amazing. As you like, you know, your friends, you had a wedding recently, weren't you? Sort of a few months ago. Even extended relatives or friends, or you know, loads of people that I know personally, but also we get sent emails and all sorts of stuff. And even recently, we've started meeting all the Salt babies. So all the babies are coming through.
There are Salt babies.
I mean, I just think we should we need to brainstorm like a gift to send to not only everyone who meets on Salt and gets married. We need to like give them something Salt related. Answers on a postcard, please.
Oh,
any suggestions?
Tell us. So people message you to say, we're now married, we have kids, and we met on the app.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful actually.
So how long's the app been running now?
Just over 3 years. Yeah, in the UK.
It's
I suppose Christians, you sort of go on there.
moving.
People were matching within, you know, obviously matching within a day, but you know, we had stories of people meeting and then sort of getting engaged after, you know, only a few weeks of the app launching, having met and stuff, and
that is so
started
Christian,
dating,
isn't it?
and then they get married, and then the kids come, and yeah, so it's pretty cool actually, and it's wonderful. We don't often we should probably go after, you know, contact people more and try and ask for more, because you know, when we've advertised for jobs, actually the amount of people we've had apply who have met on Salt is like tons that we didn't even know about. Loads of applicants, and a lot of them have actually. And we've actually just had Matthew join the team. He was living in the States, moved across here. He met his wife on Salt as well. So, you know, member of the team now. And another member of the team, Henry, his sister, met her husband on Salt as well. So actually the team as well, that's sort of expanding. So that's really exciting to know.
And that's only going to grow, you know, that's just from 3 years.
Yeah.
So, okay, question 2. What made you want to start Salt in the first place?
It was my own experience, I think, having used online dating for Christians, and, you know, maybe not quite being what the sort of the tool or the app that I wanted to use myself is expensive, and you know, you had to pay money to sort of message people, and people were a bit embarrassed to use it. Maybe they weren't apps, they were websites, and it was a bit sort of like broken. And it's something that's so important, I think, for Christians to, you know, fundamentally we want to meet other people to share our faith. That's really important, and actually it's really hard to do unless you go to church with someone or they're a friend of your friends, and then they happen to introduce you. You're not going to meet other people. So actually dating apps allow you to sort of extend that sort of pool and actually meet people you wouldn't have otherwise had the chance to meet. I mean, Sophie, for example, lived just over a mile away over a mile away from me in London.
Sophie, your wife.
Sophie, my wife.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have met, even though I went to same university as her sister and brother-in-law. But I didn't really know them, and so you don't really, you're not going to actually ever meet these people unless you go to the same church and have the same circle of friends. So I think it was just a way to help people meet.
Are you proud of what you created?
It's a team effort, It's sort of Chris and I have been there from the beginning, and we're really fortunate to have more members of the team now join and stuff. So yes, I look at what we've done and what we are doing, and I'm just, I suppose, less so proud, but just more feel a real sense of gratitude of being able to do what we're doing. Like, we get to turn up every day and to create a product or a service or content on the YouTube, whatever it might be, that are going to serve and help support Christians on their relationship journey, whether they're single, dating, or in a relationship, whatever. And that for me is just like the biggest blessing.
So the next question is kind of more about how people are using the app and other dating apps as well, not just Salt. But do you think ghosting is the biggest issue that dating apps need to address over the coming year? Somebody asked.
I think it is a big-ish issue, definitely, because, as you say, it exists on every app, and I think there have been lots of, I suppose, moves in culture towards how we interact, and how many people there are, or what the expectations are, or there's so many different factors as to why that's an issue. But I think a bigger point, and I'm even seeing this in sort of non-religious dating apps, and just more generally, I think there seems to be a bigger emphasis, and rightfully so, on actually us as individuals and working on ourselves. And I think that's really important. So, I think it would be far cooler if everyone on every dating app, or someone who wants to go to a dating app, or someone who's single or wants to meet people, were actually looking at themselves and looking at, discerning from God. Am I ready to date? Do I want to date? What things are important to me? What's the Lord saying? And, actually working on that before then going on a date, before going on dates and meeting people or whatever. I think if everyone took more responsibility for their own, actions and what they were really trying to prioritize and do, that would be fantastic, because that would just lead to so much more rich and more life-giving conversations and interactions between everyone.
So
but also don't ghost. So
that's
ghosting's bad as well.
Simple, But actually, if people were doing that, then they wouldn't be in a place. They'll be less likely to be in a place where they want to ghost people.
Definitely.
They'll be more open to exploring things and seeing things through.
Yeah.
So this is sort of along the same lines, but I mean potentially slightly more serious. But how do you make the app safe for the people using it?
There's a lot of stuff, and you see the headlines every year about X many billion pounds or dollars have been swindled from online dating scams and catfishing and all that sort of stuff. And there's that side, and then there's also the technology and the addiction and the screen time and all that sort of stuff as well. So I think there are lots of factors to it, and I suppose we think about it in two ways. One is what we can do, and one is what the individuals can do, because yes, there's lots of things we do behind the scenes on our technology to try and look for bad actors, catfishing or scamming or all that sort of stuff. And obviously we protect everyone's data and do all that sort of stuff. But, I think there's also other elements that we think about sort of in the app itself, how we structure it, what questions are we asking, the devotions and how we point people back to Jesus. So I think there are lots of things that we can do within the app to try and encourage people to, I suppose, come back to who their identity is in, and our identity as Christians is in Christ, and actually be reminded of that really impacts what we're doing.
Yeah, I've definitely had this conversation with friends, and particularly when there was a lot of chat about women and women feeling safe and all of that kind of stuff. And actually, there's only so much you as an app creator or any platform can do. You're not going to perform background checks and that sort of stuff on every applicant. And yes, there's a way of reporting people, and you will screen and make sure that there's no sort of offensive language or anything like that on someone's profile. But actually beyond that, it is the same as meeting someone in a bar.
Yeah.
You need to run the same checks that you would to keep yourself
completely
safe that way, and make sure people know where you are and who you're meeting up with and all of that kind of thing.
And also involving other people in the conversation, because I don't think this stuff should be done, in our own little sort of in isolation. I think it's important to get your friends' opinions of people and to introduce someone to your friends and involve other people, because I think we can become, blind, in certain situations. So definitely involve others.
Absolutely. And if someone's asking you for money in any way or anything like that.
Yeah, that falls into the earlier bucket of
that's
applied wisdom.
Definitely.
But it is a tough one, because what we're talking about is something that's really important of an emotive and something that's sort of very dear to lots of people.
If you're enjoying this chat, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. As a married... Oh, this person knew that you were married.
Okay.
Someone knows a little about you. As a married person, how do you stay current in online dating space to be able to understand the users using their aspirations, the cultural and contextual challenges that they face? What a question.
That's
how do you do it?
Well, the short answer is I don't, I think. I'm sort of feel like this very sort of already old-fashioned and out of touch guy. But no, I mean, for a start, we've got a team. So we're a team of some married, some single, from different cultures, backgrounds, ages. Actually, we've got a really nice mix there, which means that actually we've got an awareness of, you know, what's going on for whoever our user might be. But I also think, you know, fundamentally, you know, we're running the app because we believe in the power and the value of godly relationships and marriages and the impact, the positive impact that can have on societies and communities. And so actually being a married man and with my wife or anyone else in the team who's married, actually we're almost, you know, what we're trying to support and enable is, you know, godly relationships. And that's what we're trying to do in our marriage. And so actually the two aren't as separate as one might think, because I think fundamentally we're coming after the same things. We're coming to godly interactions and pointing people to Jesus and having him at the center of everything we do. So actually, if I'm married or single, actually how much of the app's actually going to change because, you know, it actually needs to be culturally relevant or trendy? Actually, I don't think there's much of an argument there, because yes, maybe, you know, elements of our social, elements of the branding need to, of course, be relevant and engaging, but actually the fundamentals of what we're about, that is the product. It's not actually, you know, a screenshot or whatever. It's the bigger stuff and what we prioritize. So I think, you know, having the mix probably helps.
Okay, next up, what role should SALT play in shaping the wider culture of Christian relationships, both online and offline, as the business grows and becomes increasingly influential?
No pressure then. I think. I think we think of it as like, you know, I think we can play a role. I think it's very important that, you know, no one is seen as the catch-all on this thing. I think what we're trying to do is support as godly relationships and marriages. And yes, the church obviously has a major role to play. Yes, actually, your group of friends has a role to play. Yes, you know, someone who maybe is discipling you or you're discipling, actually that has a role to play. You know, theology, books, apps, content, who we watch on YouTube, which podcasts we're listening to, you know, which community groups or WhatsApp groups we're part of, whatever it might be, everything plays a part, I think. And I suppose that what that looks like is different depending on who you are as an individual. So I definitely think there's a scope for us to play. And I think the things that we want to focus on are really of going back to the identity point, to encourage people and remind them of their identity in Christ. I think all of our content wants to be uplifting and pointing people to Jesus. And so, yeah, maybe that's going to expand, maybe through different channels. Obviously, we've got the YouTube channel, and, you know, through Instagram, be it TikTok, be it online, be it through courses. There are lots of opportunities, and I suppose we have to work out what's the right thing for the right time. But yes, we definitely hope and feel that if there's an opportunity for us to try and create things that help people point them back to Jesus and help them meet other Christians, that would be wonderful. It'd be a real privilege. Yeah.
So this is the final question, and I think it ties into a lot of what you've just said. But how do you define success? And it's quite broad. They haven't specified if they mean with the app or with you personally or in a relationship, you know. So what kind of springs to mind?
I suppose from a personal perspective, and this is very personal, I suppose I think the constant tension that I've sort of been in since starting SALT with Chris a few years ago, is getting this balance about, you know, really wanting to rely on God and SALT being his business, with, you know, actually needing to work hard and make things happen myself, you know, work a couple of jobs and not have much money or no funding and try and do it yourselves, and you do everything yourself. And so getting that balance is really tough, and that's a continual battle now. So that's a personal tension. So I would definitely class success as really being able to sit in that peace. I think peace would be a success of really being at peace each and every minute and each and every day of, okay, I'm at peace with what I'm doing, and I'm sort of trusting God for when I need to be trusting on God, and I'm working and I'm enjoying work, which is a gift, where I need to be working. So that would be success for me from a professional perspective. And I think for the team, I suppose maybe that extends into the team element as well. It's about having a team with lots of different people with different talents and skills, different personalities, strengths, weaknesses, and actually all operating in harmony and really pulling together to try and do something where people feel creatively fulfilled, and they do work that really resonates with who they are. That's success, definitely. But also, we've got to tie that in with the business needing to innovate and improve and have a better product and to offer more things to more people and to expand, to make sure that we can pay for everything, and so all the numbers are important as well. And then we've got all the relationships and the marriages and the babies, and I think there are lots of different elements. And I suppose for users, what's success like for the users? I mean, and the answer is definitely not meeting someone on Salt. That's never been, from day one, has never been what we classify as success. I think if someone can interact with anything that Salt is doing, be it the app, be it the YouTube channel, be it the social media, Instagram, whatever it might be, TikTok, if they can view something there and be encouraged, or at least see a bit of sprinkle of salt, excuse the pun, if they can see some sort of salt and light in something there and come away more encouraged or more edified or more whatever, that's success. Obviously for a lot of people that may well be meeting someone, it may well be getting married, but actually success can also be watching one of your lovely videos and being encouraged about being single at a particular time, or maybe having gone through a breakup or whatever, and actually to come back to Jesus and to find peace in that moment, because peace is not found in the success in the marriage and the whatever. Peace is found in knowing who we are in Christ and discerning what his will is for us in that moment. And so I think if we can try and help people achieve that peace, that would be success.
Can you give us a sneak peek of something that might be coming up in the sort of innovative future of Salt? You're launching in loads of different countries. Have you got your eyes on another territory or place? Is there a new function that you're excited about, or events, or something you can?
There's tons actually, but it's sort of working out what's going to come when.
You can't say.
Yeah. We can't.
Give us one little thing, just one.
Well, I've been saying to Chris for a long time, CTO, founder, we need to have more audio or video on the app, like audio messaging, video messaging, video calling, all that sort of stuff. I think that's really important. And then dating show. I mean, we've got to work out what this is, right? And we're talking about it.
Yes, super excited about the potential of doing a dating show. And I think anyone who's watching this who wants me to match them up should send their details in through some sort of link.
Just text Lauren. We'll put the number up on the screen. WhatsApp her.
Yeah, I'm convinced that I can just create amazing settings for people to enjoy meeting each other.
I think so.
Thanks for watching the Salt YouTube channel. We'll be back next week, and don't forget to like and subscribe.